Don Bermuda's Girl Chapter 5. I have nowhere to go. Put me down. Nicole tried to escape from his grip. No, idiot. Axel sighed and laughed, but she could not see him. Ellis was running with the jacket in his hands, and when he approached he put his hand in front of his eyes not to look. Your jacket, boss, you had it in the car. He picked it up and threw it behind her, covering Nicole. He walked to the car, she opposed again. Axel pushed her hard into the back seat and pushed himself to hold her. Then threw the jacket on her legs to cover her. Ellis, you drive. Yes, boss. Do not try in vain, the doors are closed. Axel let out a sigh as he rested his head on the seat. Miss Bermuda? The commissar snapped his fingers in front of her face to get her attention. I'm sorry. She shaked her head to remove the thoughts. You got lost. What were you thinking? I was thinking about a meat sandwich. I'm very hungry. You must love meat sandwich that much that has made you think deeply. Or I'm too hungry. I have not eaten at all today. The commissar was embarrassed. He definitely wanted to get information about her brother, but he was not an animal. He felt bad. He was trying to fight that desire to take care of her. Wait here, I'll bring you something to eat. Maybe it's not a meat sandwich but something enough to fill the belly. I have nowhere to go. She shrugged as the commissar laughed and walked out. Her body was numb, so she stood up and started moving, pulling her arms. The thoughts of the 5 years ago, those 3 months of summer before she went to university, still tormented her. 5 years ago flashback, she was not as calm as she seemed. She had cried as her body trembled in fear in that cell, constantly remembering how that perverted old man tried to touch her. She was washed with alcohol at her friend's apartment, and more than dirty whiskey and blood could not stand her body because he had touched her. She could not breathe and wanted to cry, but not in the presence of Axel. She lowered the windshield to let in some air, but Axel reached out and closed it again, and when he approached he noticed that she smelled of alcohol. You are half naked, you will be cold, do not open the glass. He withdrew his body, intoxicated from her touch. You are naked too. Sorry, I did not think long. He looked her in the eye and turned his head away to the window. No, I am good. Smells like alcohol. Axel spoke with a frown. He consumed alcohol, but did not want her to drink. Nicole kept talking with her head from the window. Don Bermuda's Girl Chapter 6. Prison is not for princesses. 5 years ago flashback, I'm washed in alcohol. I could not have a shower because Anaid had no water at this hour. Well, prison is not for princesses. If you don't want to get dirty, do not get your hands dirty. He spoke through teeth. He knew that she had hit the old man, but he did not know her version of the story, nor had he taken the trouble to be informed. It would have been better if I left him rape me? Ellis braked the car, and Axel was forced to keep Nicole from crashing into the front seat. Sorry, boss. Continue driving again. Neither did Ellis know. He had just accompanied his boss to talk to the old man, and he had given his version that Nicole was the one who had provoked and attacked him. If you go to his office and provoke him in exchange for information about the biological family and then attack him, what do you wait for? He is a man. She laughed out loud as if she was laughing to herself. Of course he would not believe her. And now he was probably caring about the family's reputation. That disgusting pervert called me, asked me to meet him because according to him Dad had given him information about my biological family. If our father had information and wanted to tell you that information, he would have done it. There was no need to go to others. Where did he find your contact number? How did he know when you were back? He raised his voice, already irritated. You will not believe me, whatever I say. After all, why do you do it? You neither know me nor have anything to do with me. But one thing is for sure, I do not allow anyone I do not want to touch me. Even if I have to defend myself at any form, I would gladly rot in prison. Axel saw her index finger and her angry face. Her hand was trembling. There was remorse in his eyes, but she did not see them because she turned her head back to the other side. We arrived. Ellis's voice broke the silence. Axel went down and extended his hand, but Nicole opened the door on her side, refusing. She handed him the jacket instead of her hand and got out of the car. Nicole knew this house in the palm of her hand, though she had many years without seeing it. She stepped inside and met the chef's smiling face, throwing her arms around her. Emma. Miss Nicole, you came back. Emma returned the longing embrace. She had known Nicole since she started working there when Nicole was a child. Oh, how I missed you. She broke away by clapping her hands in the air, but felt a hand pull her from her waist. Axel tied the jacket at her waist, standing behind her. Do not raise your arms like that, not dress like this. UGHH. She let out a sigh. Axel pretended not to hear her and left for his office, his father's old office, but something else caught his ear that irritated him. What about your suitcase? Emma asked her. I left it at a friend's apartment near the college. I have to ask him to send it to me tomorrow. Give her some of my clothes. Axel spoke to Emma. Yes, sir. Emma replied politely. Sir? You practically raised him. Nicole was confused. And you, don't you have any female friends, only males? Without waiting for her response, he started walking toward the office.